Morning everyone. One of the questions that we've been asked through social media, and thanks for all the comments and messages that we've had, is basically to cover shots inside the 75 yards. So anything I suppose that's not a full swing. And I think it's an area that people see tour pros in particular being exceptionally good at, or they perceive them to be. But one of the truths of the matter is that tour pros have favourite yardages. They know what yardages their clubs are going to go. They know what the ball's going to do when they play specific shots. And I think that's one of the biggest failings that we see with amateur golfers. So one of the things I would like to see you do is have a full swing, a three-quarter swing and a half swing. So a full swing, is your regular full swing. Your three-quarter swing, it might look very like your full swing, but it might be tempo that you work on. It might be that you have a position where you like to get the club to. And equally the same is true with the half swing. I know when I look at my full swing, three-quarter swing and half swing, my video, in terms of the length of the swing, they actually don't look too dissimilar, but the rhythm and the tempo are very, very different. So one of the things I would encourage you to do is to basically have your scoring clubs, your 7, 8, 9, all the way down to your wedges, and have a knowledge of what the full swing and the three-quarter swing and half swing are going to do.
The three shots that I was talking about. One thing that I'm going to highlight, this video is not going to concentrate on technique. Of course, for different people there are technical elements to the swing, which are the reasons that they struggle with this shot. But an awful lot of time I get people come into the studio, Robert, I'm really struggling with a shot from 75, 80 yards or whatever. For me, quite frequently the problem is that people firstly don't know how far they actually hit the ball. So many people overestimate it, it's frightening. Secondly, they don't have an awareness of what each of the clubs can do. And thirdly, they get hung up on technique rather than reacting to what they see or what they know to be the case, i.e., we're playing a links course and I need it to come in lower and it's going to bounce a lot, versus we're playing Douglas Park and we know that if we hit it full toss through the air, it's going to stop very, very quickly. So what we would encourage people to do is potentially start, even if it's just your wedges, so your low wedge right the way down, but certainly down to pitch and wedge, if not down as far as 7-iron, and just make those swings that feel comfortable to you. So full swing, three-quarter swing and half swing. As I said earlier, that half swing or three-quarter swing is not necessarily a measure of length. It's probably more what feels comfortable in terms of rhythm and tempo for you. We start to see with most people, and I know from looking at my own footage in the past, unfortunately this doesn't have the footage stored any longer because it's old data, but I know from looking at these that my club head speed, although it varies between each of the three categories, there's not a huge amount of variability from for all the full swings, for all the half swings and all the three-quarter swings, but the length of swing actually looks fairly similar throughout. It's just I vary my tempo to change the club head speed, and that's not uncommon for people. So don't necessarily get hung up on positions, just work on what your feel is. What I would love to see for most people is that each of these yardages be covered by at least 2 clubs. In reality, what we start to see is people maybe have 3 shots that they can hit to this 95 yards and 3 shots at 60, but they may well have areas where there are gaps. Now, one of the reasons that the tour pros look so proficient with their wedge play is that they're very good at managing their game back the way. And by that I mean that they'll leave themselves at yardages where they're comfortable playing in. Those of you that remember Tiger hitting the pin at the Masters a few years ago, spinning into the water, and then taking his dubious drop several yards further back, and he quite clearly said in his interview afterwards, which is what raised the question and got him penalised, was he said he deliberately took it back a couple of yards to his preferred yardage. So he knows how far the ball carries, he knows how far the total distance is with those given shots, and there's very few players in the world any better at it than him. So if you, for instance, were to perform this exercise and you find that at 80 yards you do have a gap, well, that might mean when you're playing a par 5 that you don't necessarily hit your 3-wood from the fairway. You might hit your hybrid, because hitting a good 3-wood might leave you at that 80-yard mark, and then you're struggling, you're trying to take something off this club. Whereas hitting a full hybrid might leave you that 20 yards further back and leave you your comfortable yardage for your half gap wedge or half lob wedge or whatever it happens to be. So course strategy, course management is a huge constituent part of this, as is starting to understand how far you can hit each club and start to control club head speed. Equally, there'll be club head speeds you're just not comfortable with. So some people swinging it too slowly just doesn't work, or swinging it too quickly just doesn't work. That's why we're not hugely prescriptive. It's just saying what's a 3/4 swing feel like to you, what does a half swing feel like to you, and what numbers does it yield. Hope that makes sense. With TrackMan now, I'm on my old laptop to be able to get this data, but I am now able to upload all the video footage. So those of you that want to send video footage for comparison, we've got the ability now to upload it into TrackMan and let you see exactly what we would be looking for, how we can make the changes, compare it against Tour Pros if needs be, but be able to put the markers in, the lines and all the rest of it that you might be used to seeing in the course of a lesson ordinarily. So thanks for listening. We've got a few others lined up, so please keep your eyes peeled, and I hope to see you soon.